Internet, what is really, really, really good? You know what it is. It's the one and the only, the triple, the G.O.D. And of course, I'd like to welcome you guys back to another installment of Triple the Guy Speaks On. Yo, I have news for you. Well, you probably have seen this news if you are interested in the video game that we are about to talk about. However, I feel that because I am me, and this is important to me, is that I feel that some historical significance be laid here. But for the sake of conversation, we are going to call historical significance backstory, because there's a bit of backstory to this, and I am going to explain to you said backstory. So this is what we're going to do. We are going to start it now. We're going to work our way as a flashback to a backstory, similar to Arrow, if you watch that. Like, we're going to flash back to some time because it's important, and then we're going to work our way with the questions about the future of whatever the hell this is. How about that? So, let's start it now, right this moment. Senran Kagura Estival Versus is coming to PC. Duh, that was a thing that was going to happen because Senran Kagura games have been coming to PC and are looking their best and being their best games, not being held back by, console systems or whatever. Because Monday, we'll go with that day and why, because it is that day that is and why. Here's the thing though. Here's the thing, the reason why I'm making this video and why we have a whole bunch of backstory that we have to wade through. In that same announcement, Exceed announced the Icky 1000 characters are coming to the video game for all versions. So they come into the PC version, I'm guessing included, and the PS4 and Vita version, they're going to put them up. But what we don't know at this time is whether or not they're going to charge for the characters. And I'm going to assume they're going to have to, because there's no way they're going to, they put up Ayane for money. So if you really, honestly, legitimately think they're going to put up Sonsaku, Kano, and Ryofu for free for you to buy on PS4 or Vita, not going to happen. That's just a business thing. On the PC, they can get away with that because they can charge you an overall price and still make their money back on the work that the port probably cost Exceed to license to somebody to make in the first place. The overall arching part of this portion before the backstory is this. Well, actually, we're finna lead into the backstory. Because where do you start with backstory on this? Well, you might be wondering, or have wondered, since I've uploaded trailers for this game for years, and you probably looked at one of the trailers for Estival Versus when I was covering the Japanese release. Icky 1000 characters? Yes, Icky 1000 characters. Want to know why Icky 1000 characters? Well, the answer goes a little something like this. Icky 1000 Shiny Dragon on PS2, Icky 1000 Eloquent Fist on PSP, and Icky 1000 Cross Impact on PSP. If you look at those games very closely, guess what you see? The beginning of the Senran Kagura franchise. A lot of what Senran Kagura has become and has continued to evolve to owes a lot to what Icky 1000 did as a video game that did that type of stuff. It don't go as dumpster level dumb as Senran Kagura does, but if you play the games, which I would suggest if you're going to play one of those three, play Cross Impact, because it's the game that is the most mature and evolved of the series as it grew, is that before Senran Kagura came out, you will see a lot of what that game started as and has become and has since branched out and done. You will see a lot of that in Cross Impact. I spent some time playing a bit of Shining Dragon and Eloquent Fist, but I spent some time with Cross Impact. So just trust me when I say that if you're going to play an Icky 1000 game, just skip straight to Cross Impact if you're trying to look. But if you're trying to go through all three, it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt at all. Which makes me wonder where's Kurenai from Red Ninja and Nirvana, but that's another Tataki conversation. But the thing is, our Lord kept his promise. Our Lord kept his promise because last year when the game dropped, people was like, where are the Icky 1000 characters? Why are we not getting the Icky 1000 characters? Well, the answer to that is quite simple. Funimation cough. Because my understanding of the situation is, Funimation cough, is that they own the rights to the Battle Vixens franchise in America. So if you want to use those characters or whatever, you have to go through them, and they are the right and the wrong, and they make the final decisions. It's very similar to what happened with Tatsunoko versus Capcom. Why certain characters that you really wanted in that game couldn't get into it, because the 90s and the 80s were a very fucked up time for rights with Japanese shit in other countries that are not Japan. So, yay. So that does make you wonder. You kind of wish the games would have stayed just import video games, because yes, you would have got your Speedy Ceviche and he would have been doing hyper combos on Ryu and I would be able to die in peace. But that's not the case. Here's the thing though. The magic of the wonders of the Monkey Paw. Our Lord of the Life in Hometown, along with the homies as a seed or whatever, do they due diligence and give you what you finally wanted so that you have a complete video game. But because cough, they can't use the character names in English. Well, that don't really matter for the PC version, because, you know, somebody with 2 seconds and some give a fuck will just mod the names back in, beginning, middle, and end. What that means for your PS4, your Vita game, I don't know. But better characters than no characters at all. Because it's like they said on Twitter, it's like you either get characters with different names or no characters at all with the names that don't exist because they won't be in the game because the names are what are holding it back legally. So, this is a very interesting turn of events because of what. Because I'm not trying to sit up here and say like some shit like this is unprecedented. It's not. It's just going to say that if the work can be done, then it can happen. But I've said that for years, and this is just a thing that as a person who enjoys the series the way that I enjoy the series. Because ultimately, one of these days, once I got the tech right, I was going to work up to playing the Senran Kagura games when I could present it in a way that the game deserves, and I was going to ultimately work my way up to Estival Versus. And when it got to that point of working my way up to Estival Versus, I would have bought Estival Versus. I forget what version of Estival Versus is it, because there's a version of Estival Versus that was like the re-release. I forget, because they re-released it with like special costumes, which you can't buy in America. But they re-released it in Japan in a new package with all the DLC on the cartridge or whatever on the Vita version. If I'm not mistaken, that's how that was. You know what? Fuck it. This is my show. We are going to Google Estival Versus. We gonna Google it. You think this is a game? I came hella unprepared. Sue me. Well, no, please sue me, because I'm going to counter sue you because I need some damn money. See? Helping me, help yourself. This is a triple the guy staple. Blah, blah, blah. You know what's up. Well, let me take a look. I'm going to play Asia real quick because I'm trying to find this. Well, I'm trying to think of the name of the version. Okay, let me see this. Kagura, Estival Versus. There it is, right there. Let me go and pull it up. The Sakura edition. It came with those special costumes. It came with those special costumes for each of the leading ladies of the game or whatever. And that has the limited DLC and all that old extra stuff in it. So now, I don't know where that really sits, that version. Because again, I was going to import this version for shits and giggles. And, you know, because I would have had to show off those characters somehow. But now, you just wait for somebody to mod the PC version, put the correct names in there, and then I can play the game with some self-respect. So then that then leads into the question, uppers win? The answer is never. Not that I don't believe that the game would come out in America, but I really felt like, honestly, given that game's gameness, we're going to use a made-up verb for that, is that game had what it took. That was an underhanded pitch for a game that they could have put in the store and, you know, not tried to link it to either Senran Kagura or Valkyrie Drive in a way, but still be related to those games because our Lord Tataki has brought that to you as a game that they could, release in America. I honestly thought that was a underhanded pitch. That's what I thought. Underhanded pitch. Thought it was. Game never came out, so if you want to, if you got you a modded Vita or whatever, and you have already bought Uppers, someone is working on an English patch for it. I've taken a look at it. It looks really cool. You know what I'm saying? So if you're trying to play the game in English, somebody is trying to help you do that because nobody who could actually bring the game to you legally in the damn States is. So there's that. So all in all, here's everything that was this video. The Icky 1000 characters are coming to all versions of Estival Versus, but because of Funimation Cuff, they can't use the character's name from the anime/manga because fuck it, it's Monday. Something about Uppers, the Sakura edition version of Senran Kagura Estival Versus, something about costumes, and now you have an 11-minute video. I guess so. So, really quickly, before we get out of here, thank you to our Lord Tataki for, keeping to his promise and doing what he had to do to make sure that the fans went home kind of, sort of happy. Is that sometimes in this world you have to make concessions and sacrifices to get to win the day, and this is a big win. This is a big win for fans of Senran Kagura in places not Japan, who are not importing these video games, even though you probably should for reasons. This is a victory, and all you can do is revel in the victory. You don't get to play as the characters. They won't have their real names, but you'll know who they are. And honestly, if you get 5 seconds, go play Cross Impact. Go do that. Ain't gonna hurt your feelings. You'll understand. You will see the Senran Kagura within when you go play Cross Impact. You just do that. You just go play Cross Impact because Triple the G.O.D. told you so. There you go. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm going to turn this into a video. Reminders of stuff that's already out. If you down with wrestling, I talked about the Elimination Chamber. I talked about the first episode of Q Ranger, and we got some Fist of the North Star for you if that's what you into, some instant kills and shit. So we got all that for you. So with that being said, I am of course the one and the only, the triple, the G.O.D. And I'd like to thank you for joining me for another installment of Triple the Guy Speaks On. And with that, may life and hometown be praised.